Hello everyone, it's DA here. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you are doing amazing. Today we're going to be going through Devstream 101, which is of course Devstream 101, and we'll be trying to take a look at everything that was mentioned, what was discussed, and also what we can hope to see in the next few updates in Warframe. And of course, what we cannot be expecting this year. So starting on my list, the first thing that I want to take a look at will be that they are working on a redesign of the clan battles. And if a lot of you guys remember in the past few updates, well, a long time ago, maybe years ago, we had this relay battle where each clan fight against each other and they fight against specters whenever the clan members are not present. So this is one of the things that DE is actually trying to take a look at. They're looking into the system and trying to see what other ways they're able to rework that. And one of the things that they also mentioned in the place of that will include clan assassinations, which of course in this case will include the kingpin system. And I'm guessing and hoping for a situation where they can put bounties on clan warlords and people can go ahead and try to track them down, or maybe fight their specters and try to get control and weaken the clan. So that is something that I'm hoping to see. And of course, if you guys remember during TennoCon, they also mentioned some of the different clan battles as well. The next one on the list will be Damage 3.0, and this is one thing that they've mentioned for a while now, and I'm quite glad that they're bringing it up. Now, the main reason why they mentioned that they start looking into it again as soon as possible is because of Korra, which of course is going to be the next Warframe coming, and she has what is called maybe an exalted whip, and within that you can switch the damage to slash, puncture, and impact. And one of the things that they took a look at is that they saw that slash so far in Warframe has been the go-to status ability when it comes to it, because it's able to stack on top of each other and also cause a bleed out effect. Right now, when it comes to puncture in Warframe, what it does is that whenever you hit an enemy with several loads of puncture, it reduces their damage output. So they are looking at pushing this all the way to a 90% instead of the usual 30% that it is at right now. So if you're hitting an enemy with a lot of puncture status, then it begins to reduce their damages all the way up to 90%. Now, when it comes to impact, the proposal for impact is that once that status stacks up, it begins to ragdoll enemies. And once an enemy is ragdolled, that means they cannot do any damage, do anything. It takes time for them to recover. And this way you can move up closer to them and give them finishers or do whatever else you want to do. So this also opens room up for weapons that has almost an even split between impact, slash, and puncture. So a lot of those mid-tier secondary weapons or mid-tier primary weapons that we have in the game will now start evolving into becoming a new meta and even much more useful, considering that all these status effects will now have a reasonable change to them or a reasonable impact or effect on them. Next one that I want to talk about in this, as they also mentioned during Devstream, is that they will be able to visit other players in the future. And that is one of the things that a lot of people did put out as a suggestion during TennoCon as well, as far as being able to visit other players' list set. So a lot of you who do have amazing decorations, amazing ornaments in your list set, you'll be able to show off a lot of those, or even have some awesome and incredible clan meetings or squad meetings in them as well. Now, moving up from that, the next one is going to be what is called and known as the Mega List. So the Mega List is basically going to be maybe a Terror List 2.0 or a different variation of the Terror List. And this one is slightly a little bit much bigger, moves differently. And one of the most incredible thing about it is that instead of the wood or the stick that the old one or the Terror List has on its end, the Mega List now has a rock stone sword on the right hand. And the incredible thing about this is that every time it steps on the ground, it also deals a pulse or AoE damage that affects a lot of enemies as well. So this is in hopes to change the way battles are being fought, the way terror lists are being taken down. Because one of the things that DE also mentioned with that is that they noticed that players are beginning to take down the terror list a lot much quicker. Some people have 10, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs in one single cycle, and that is one of the things that they have been looking at. They've been collecting data and see how many eidolons a lot of the players have killed so far. So this is one of DE's way of trying to reintroduce the enemy with a much tougher tactics, has a lot of different strategies, and fights differently and makes it a little bit much more difficult. So I'm hoping to see what that plays in as far as the final build, because of course right now they probably will still make some tweaks before they introduce that into the game. However, that is still not interfering with the upcoming Eidolon that will be added, the one that is able to fly. So I'm hoping to see these two iterations into the game as well. The next one on this is going to be Grineer Ghouls. And this is one of the enemies that they've mentioned a while, and we've seen them even in the Warframe comics. And I am very glad that DE is actually moving up with this, and we saw a huge and amazing gameplay of those. Now, one thing that I want to point out as well is the fact that a lot of these enemies also have different variations of them. So you don't just have one type of ghouls, you have some with multiple flame weapons, you have some with, suicidal tendencies, and you even have some with chainsaws and chain rifles as well. So I'm really excited for that. And also DE did mention that some of those weapons will be available for players in the future as well. So that's a really cool thing that I cannot wait to see. Now, the next thing that I also want to mention when it comes to weapons being available is the Tenno shotgun and the fan blades being available very, very soon. We did see the new stance of the fan blade as they showed us a display of those. We saw how those function. However, I'm hoping for a lot much fluid stances, something where it can throw the fan blades around and see it move in a spectacular way. However, this is DE. I'm sure they can pull something amazing and hopefully even give us two stances for that as we get more fan blade type of weapons in the game. Now, with a Tenno shotgun, that is also something that was mentioned. I think the first mention of it was last year, and it is actually quite impressive to also see that being shown in the game today, and it is being shown with Mirage just holding onto it. Of course, there wasn't an impact of it being shown as far as how it functions, how it moves, and what the stats are, but it is looking incredibly gorgeous. It is looking amazing. Now, speaking of Mirage, as Mirage is holding it, Mirage Prime will be the next Prime in Warframe. Now, that is one thing that I was quite stunned and shocked about, mainly because DE since the beginning, other than the beginning Founders Prime and the Founders Access thing, they've always gone with the process and the procedure of the male, female order when it comes to Prime release. And that is also correspondent to the way these frames were released originally. And if we're looking at the way the frames were released, as I did in the video that I did a while back, I spoke on Zephyr being the next Prime because she was next in line. And DE saying and telling us that, hey, Mirage is going to be next, is also bringing a whole new diversity as far as how DE is trying to mix things up. And also what I'm thinking is that DE is going to start doing this not only or not anymore based on how they were released. I think DE is going to start releasing primes based on the order of the reworks. So if a rework is ready to be shipped out, then that is going to be the next prime. So let's say in this situation, Mirage rework, as the one that have shown us, you have this thing where you drop this loot boxes or this gift boxes that is on the floor. If you're in a light spot, you have a different effect. If you're in a dark area, you have a different effect. So those are some of the really cool things that was mentioned. A lot of the abilities have been tweaked a little. Mirage hasn't been broken down. However, she's been, quote unquote, made better and more versatile in the game. So this is one of the things that I'm seeing here, because now they are reworking Mirage. And once Mirage is ready, which she will be ready, finally they will put in some final touches and she will be okay before the end of this month, which means she will be ready to ship out for the next Prime Access. So that is also an amazing thing to see, but also gives me a question of, okay, who is going to be the next Prime after Mirage? Since Zephyr is not in line anymore and it's Mirage, then I'm hoping to see what DE will say, and also hoping for the next Prime Access trailer. Because of course we haven't seen Hydra's Access trailer, and we're hoping to see something more of that in the future. Now, when it also comes to the Prime Access and the Prime release, there was also a hint and a mention of some kind of event coming soon. Now, I'm hoping that maybe when you are building your next Prime frame, there will be a Prime or a prime honor ceremony, maybe in something, in some kind of Orokin tradition where you go to see this and play this event as the original prime frames. So I'm hoping to see this in Warframe. However, that may not be what they were hinting at, but that's something that I'm hoping to see. And maybe in the future, DE can do this where you take in your regular frames if you already have the prime variant, and you can play a lot of this quest and become or transition into becoming a prime in Warframe. Now that is it for this video. If I did forget anything, please go ahead, leave them down below in the comment section. And if you have any questions, join my Discord server and ask me any questions to there. We're able to have some discussions, share items, basically make this a whole marketplace of ideas. And if you have any questions or any requests as well for glyphs or anything that you may need in the future, let me know down below as well, and also in my Discord server. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys like this. If I did cover everything that you wanted to know, let me know as well. And if you enjoy this content, feel free to leave a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel for more Warframe. And as always, it is DA signing out. I'll see you guys in the next one.